Hello everybody, welcome to another video. My name and today's topic is personal licensing. So today we're going to discuss about the types of aircraft licenses and how do we obtain it. So before beginning, I would like to add up here that this video is in continuation with the series of videos that I'm making on air regulations. So anyone who is giving Dgca examination to obtain CPL license, all the topics of air regulations are right here. So do subscribe to my channel and keep watching. Let's begin. I would like you all to make a small note at the back of your head that as we proceed through the chapter, there are a lot of things that is a bit detailed. So you don't have to mug up all those things because a lot of numbers are there and you'll get confused if you mess up everything during exam also. So there are certain things that you have to keep it in mind. So I'll be telling you what all things have to be in the primary focus, and also in these notes I have made small notes like one word I have written. I'll be explaining you through all those things, so just listen properly to what I'm saying and let's carry on. Okay, so what are the basic things that you have to keep in mind is that educational qualification is important. Minimum age, maximum age criteria, okay, number of hours needed for all the licenses, cross country flying and all those criterias, night flying and the other criterias, and the validity of the license. And further, as we move on, I'll be specifically telling you that which part is important and which is not of that much importance. So let's start. Annexure number 1, as you already know, we have done this in previous videos. Annexure number 1 is the one who sets out rules for personal licensing and rating as well, and this is done by the central government. Educational qualification. So for the student pilot license, we call it as SPL. All as in it includes aeroplanes, helicopters, gliders, balloons and microlights. Then PPL, private pilot license. Pilot license for gliders, balloons and microlight aircrafts. And FRTOL, that is a flight radio telephone operator's license. So for these, just 10th qualification, 10th pass is important from a recognized board or equivalent examination. And for commercial pilot license, ATPL, student nav license, etc., FRTOL also, 10 plus 2 with physics and mathematics in 10 plus 2, it is required. Moving ahead, validity of the medicals. So as you must know that medicals are required. In most cases there are 2 medicals required, class 1 and class 2. So the validity for the PPL, SPL, FRTOL and flight engineering license, it is 24 months validity, and after the pilot has reached an age of 50 years, its validity period is decreased to 12 months. And 12 months, the other licenses that includes commercial pilot license, ATPL as well, its validity is for 12 months, so you need to renew it. After 40 years of age, it is reduced to 6 months. So after every 6 months, you have to renew it. And after an age of 60 years, also it is 6 months in case you're flying in a multi-crew aircraft. Note that this was the validity of the medicals and not the license. The license validity is up to 10 years for PPL, pilot license, FRTOL, and for SPL, CPL, ATPL, etc. it is 5 years validity. Next important thing is minimum age. So for student pilot license 16 years, private pilot license 17 years, commercial pilot license 18 years and ATPL 21 years. Maximum age. For commercial air transport, 65 years is the maximum age. For commercial air transport in multi-crew, it is 60 years and it is not applicable for aircraft which is less than 5,700 kg weight. Of course, when we say in a multi-crew environment, if a pilot is having 60 years of age, then the other crew members, their age should be less than 60 years. Let's look into each one of them one by one. First comes the student pilot license. Minimum age, as we already discussed, it is 16 years. So their minimum knowledge should be, they should have passed oral examinations in air regulations, air navigation, air meteorology, and aircraft and engines as per the syllabus. So oral examination they have to pass, and not the written one for the SPL license. Further, as we move, there is a security clearance that is being done by the flying school in which the training is held, and that is done by the state police. Next is renewal. So the renewal of this license, again, as I told, that 12 months is for the medical renewal, and license it is 24 months. Next, coming on to the aircraft rating. So it basically tells you that which type of aeroplane or helicopter you have been flown on. So it in that license, the name of that aircraft is entered. Okay, moving on to the privileges. So the student pilot license is only allowed to fly in an Indian territory, and along with a flight instructor or an examination for sure. And then moving on, okay, yeah, VFR, this is the visual flight rules. So under no condition they can fly in an instrument flight rule condition. Instrument flying means seeing the instruments and flying with the help of the information that you gain from the instruments. And when you talk about the VFR, it means that the visual flight rules. So you look outside the cockpit window and then you do the visual flight rule, landing, approach, whatever. And then you cannot undertake CC. Here by CC I mean cross country. It is not a universal short form for cross country flights. This is mine only, so just bear with me. So they cannot undertake cross-country flights before 10 hours solo flight time, and they should have passed navigation and meteorology. The student pilot license is issued by the flying club. I'll write it down. Here it is. It should be issued by the flying club or the government flying training school. Of course, with regards and subject to the conditions laid down by the Directorate General. So that was about the student pilot license. That was easy, very much, not much to know about it. Moving on to the private pilot license, short form PPL. So in this, again, they have to pass the written examination this time for all the subjects that I told in student pilot license. I'll say it again: air regulations, air navigation, meteorology, aircraft and engines. They have to clear the written exam. So the experience. So the experience is like he shall produce evidence of having satisfactorily completed as a pilot of an aeroplane not less than 40 hours of flight time, which includes, so the 40 hours of flight time will include not less than 20 hours of solo flying, not less than 5 hours of cross-country solo flying, with a range, its range should be 150 nautical miles, the cross-country flights. Okay, this is important. You should remember that for a private pilot license, 20 hours should be the solo, 5 hours of cross-country flying, and 150 nautical miles should be the range, with full stop landings at 2 different aerodromes. Then 10 hours of solo flying should be done within 12 months of date of application of the license. Like the date of application of license, I mean for the license, when you apply, that would be the date on which you'll apply, that will be the date of application, and within 12 months of that, at least 10 hours of solo flying should have been done by that pilot. Then only they'll be eligible for the private pilot license. Next coming up is if done 24 months before. Yes, if it has been done 24 months before, then only 50% of the total flying would be taken and maximum would be 10 hours. Self-explanatory. And same thing is for gliders. The flying training should be done in accordance with the syllabus prescribed by the Directorate General, of course. And before we go into renewal, I would also like to throw a few light on the skills that it should have. I'll read this thing up and then we'll discuss it. So he shall have demonstrated his competency to perform a pilot in command or co-pilot of an aeroplane, a procedure and maneuvers prescribed in the syllabus of the satisfaction of an examiner on the type of aeroplane to which the application for the license relates within a period of 6 months immediately preceding the date of application. Believe me, this is not of much importance as from the exams point of view, so I just read it because you must know it. Let's move on to the renewal part. So for renewal, there are renewal of the license. Okay, you have to have certain things got done. So the medicals should have been done, okay, all up to date, and then not less than 5 hours of flight time as a pilot in command. So PIC here means pilot in command within 12 months of the DOA. So 5 hours of flight time. Again, it's not of much importance, but I'm just telling you, right? This is the only 2 criteria for renewal of private pilot license. Moving on to the rating. So rating is something that you must focus on a little bit. So here we'll be discussing about 3 types of ratings. The first one is called the aircraft rating, second one is the night rating, and last one is the instrument rating for the private pilot license. So let's discuss one by one. The aircraft rating, it is also known as the open rating. Okay, I'll read the thing first and then we'll discuss it. It says that the license shall indicate the class and the type of aeroplanes the holder is entitled to fly for the okay, understood the sentence? An open rating for all single piston engine types of aeroplanes having an all-up weight not exceeding than 1,500 kgs may also be granted if he has completed not less than 250 hours as pilot in command and has at least 4 different types of aeroplanes entered in the aircraft rating of his license. So, some things that you have to note down is that in this case, there is 1000 kg weight of the aircraft, for which also you can get a rating, aircraft rating, and for that the criteria is 250 hours of flying and at least in 4 different aircraft. So night rating means being able to fly at the night with all the passengers on board. So criteria is at least 50 hours of solo flying as pilot in command, not less than 5 hours of night flying, 5 takeoffs, 5 landing within 6 months of DOA, which is date of application of the license. Dual cross-country flight, 100 nautical miles at night. So in the morning, if you're doing for the normal, in the general case for the PPL, it is 150 nautical miles. And for the night rating, if you're doing, you have to cover 100 nautical miles. Dual instructions for instrument rating, not less than 5 hours. Instrument rating is being able to fly in the IFR condition. You know, you can extend the aircraft rating as well. So there are certain criteria that tests and all you have to pass. You should have written the aircraft engine examinations, etc. All those criteria if you fulfill, then you can extend your aircraft rating as well, right? Then coming to the privileges. So PX here means passengers. Passengers can be carried but not for hire or remuneration. fly at night with valid night rating, and same for IFR, right? So if that's obvious thing, that if you want to fly at the night, then you should have the night rating, and if you have to follow the instrument flight rules, then there should be instrument rating with you. So CPL, commercial pilot license, mostly we are interested in CPL only, so here it comes. So for CPL, I guess you'd be knowing that you have to clear the written examinations of air regulations, navigation, meteorology, aircraft and engine signals, practical exam for interpretation and oral visual signals. So the syllabus is prescribed by the Dgca. Okay, fine. So let's go into the details. So 200 hours of flying is needed here. Okay. What did we learn about in PPL? PPL, we saw that it was 40 hours of flying. That has to again come with some of the criterias, and then we'll be eligible to have a PPL. And in CPL, it is 200 hours of flying mandatory. Okay, fine. So again, and when we dig more further, so we'll see that it should be greater than 100 hours of flying as a pilot in command, and not less than 15 hours within 12 months of DOA, date of application. So when you put an application for issuing a license, then within 12 months of that, 15 hours of flying should have been done. Then the next thing is 20 hours of cross-country flight, and here the range is 300 nautical miles. This is double as that of the private pilot license, and full stop landing should be done at 2 different airports. This is really important. The whole CPL thing is actually important. Just make note of it and read this very carefully. So 10 hours of instrument flight time, and if you do it on the simulator, then 5 hours will only be considered from the simulator, and the total of 10 has to be done in the instrument flying. And for the night time, it should be at least 5 hours of flying with 10 takeoffs and 10 landings. Apart from that, if a pilot is having a CPL license for helicopters and an experience of 1000 hours, then only 200 hours will be credited. But again, there are certain criteria that has to be followed. Here I wrote it. It's again, I don't think it's very much important, but here it is: 75 hours of flying as pilot in command, 25 hours of cross-country flying, 10 hours of instrument flying, 5 hours night, and 10 takeoff, 10 landing. This is not much important. Just remember this. This is important. Okay. Of course, other requirements include FRTOL license. So about the skills, actually, you have to give certain flying tests at day and night, and also considering cross-country flight, then 1 day cross-country flight, not less than 250 nautical miles, and full stop landing has to be shown. And apart from that, night flying also has to be done with, again, not less than 150 nautical miles. This is not in the notes, but you should know this. Renewal. So renewal of license, again, for that you should have proper medicals, okay, and not less than 10 hours as pilot in command and FRTOL license. Moving on, again the ratings. So here we'll be talking about 3 types of ratings: aircraft rating, instrument rating, and instructor's rating. So instrument rating is again the same, that for the IFR flying you need it. Instructor's rating. So instructor's rating means you'll be able to part instructions. You'll be able to give instructions. Fine. So aircraft rating. For this there are certain criteria again. So it will include the types of aeroplanes that you're entitled to fly, right? Then it says that if you want to fly, okay, no, not that. The open rating, again here it comes. It should be for the single piston engine type of aeroplane having an all-up weight not exceeding 1500 kg. On such types of aeroplane, the permission will be granted for ratings, and it should have at least 1000 hours of flying time, right? 1000 hours of flying time, this is important, and at least 500 hours as pilot in command in 4 different airports. So this is important, that for aircraft rating, 1000 hours of flying time, 500 hours of as a PIC, pilot in command, and 4 hours of 4 different airports. You should have an experience of flying at 4 different airports. Okay, and well, if you're flying with a co-pilot, then the 50% of your flying experience is credited, not the whole thing, right? This we already discussed. Moving on to the proficiency check. So proficiency check is actually to fly an aircraft having an all-up weight of greater than 5700 kg, and that is why you will be needing, for that you'll be needing a proficiency check, and this is how it is done. This will be given for a period of 6 months and is again renewed for every 6 months, right? So for the proficiency check, this has to be done, and it should be kept in mind that proficiency check is done for the aircrafts which is greater in weight than the usual one which you're flying. So for the CPL, what you're flying is the 1500 kg flights, but here for the proficiency check, you'd want to fly 5700 kg flight, so you'd be needing certain proficiency checks, some checks that has to be done. You'll be having all the privileges of a private pilot license holder, and you can't fly an aircraft greater than 5700 kg, again provided that yes, you meet certain criteria. These criteria are the night flying, 10 takeoffs and 10 landings, and fly by the nights, and instrument flight rules instrument rating you should be having. This is valid only till 65 years of age, as we have already talked about it. CPL with instrument rating. So instrument rating is added here. So the first knowledge thing is same as that of the CPL. You have to clear the written examinations, and 100 hours as a pilot in command, out of which 30 hours at least as student pilot in command, and including 20 hours of cross country, and also it should not be less than 10 hours circuit landing with minimum 10 landings. So the idea here is that if they are giving you instrument rating along with CPL, then obviously there will be a little bit more plus side criteria as compared to the normal CPL. So if you compare here, you need 50 hours of cross country flying in 300 nautical mile range, and in normal CPL, what did you require? Just 20 hours, and 50 hours of instrument flying here, and in that case you required only 10 hours, and night flying is same, 5 hours, 10 takeoffs and 10 landings. Here if 50 hours of instrument you are doing, then only 20 hours of sim maximum can be taken, sim as in on the ground, and the rest of it you have to do it like for real. Then the requirement is again FRTOL. Then again, there is some skill section that I did not write here, but it's the same that for getting your license issued, you have to perform certain tests in front of the examiner, and that is day and night flying, cross country flying that would not be less than 250 nautical miles range and one full stop landing, as well as cross country flying by night as well, that would be 120 nautical miles long range, and able to be flying in the IFR conditions. Fine. So moving on to the renewal portion again. So for renewal, again you need medicals to be done, renewal of license. Here, okay, so medicals should be there. 10 hours as pilot in command for within 6 months of DOA. FRTOL should be there, and in rating there are 3 categories. Again, open rating is for the aircraft whose weight is less than 1500 kg. Of course, so for the CPL license, you will be flying an aircraft whose weight is less than 1500 kgs. So for that, 1000 hours of aircraft flying as a pilot in command for 500 hours. Right. Actually, 1000 hours of total flying and 500 hours as pilot in command. And then again, it should be done at 4 different aerodromes. Instrument rating and instructor rating again the same, and instructor rating again no separate rating is provided. So in this license, the privileges of the instrument rating are included in the privileges of this license, provided that the instrument rating flying tests have been carried out as per the conditions laid down by the Directorate General. So moving on to ATPL. So the highest of all, airline transport pilot license. For this, the knowledge should be obviously the most, like written oral examination should be cleared of all the subjects that is there as per the prescribed syllabus of Dgca, and experience here, it requires minimum 250 hours of flying as a pilot in command. Here 100 hours of flying and the cross country, and 150 hours at night flying. This is actually a little bit debatable because well, at one place it's written this and the other place it's written 500 cross country and minimum 75 night flying. So we'll be going with this actually because well, this is more accurate. Yeah, so we should go with this. Right, so instrument rating on multiple engine aircraft should be 100 hours of instrument flying, right? And FRTOL should be mandatory. So apart from that, if you talk about, then the criteria that is additional is only that FRTOL license that was common for all, but again instrument rating in multiple engine is a necessary condition here, so that has to be kept in mind. Again, the scales is the same, that renewal, fine. So moving to the renewal portion, that for renewal of the ATPL licenses, you should have all cleared, updated medicals with you, at least 10 hours of flying as a pilot in command within 6 months of DOA, FRTOL license, and IER, that is instrument rating in multi-engine, it should be there. Moving on to the rating section, again aircraft rating is there. So for this, here in this case, the aircrafts will be 5,700 kg weight, and for the ones which is greater than that, for that aircraft rating if you want, then it will be 1000 hours of flying as a pilot in command. Then instructor's rating is the same, instrument rating no separate, instrument rating is required here, given here, sorry. Fine, moving on to the proficiency, again for the aircraft whose weight is greater than 5,700 kgs, they will be requiring a proficiency check. Privileges granted are all same as that of the CPL license holder, and for the aircrafts greater than 5700 kg weight, the criteria is that 100 hours of flying, 10 route check and 5 route checks at night. These 5 route checks are included within this 10, so total of 10 route checks. Also for this ATPL, it's the same thing, only that if you are having an aircraft rating, then it can be extended by performing certain tests and showing it to the in front of the examiner. Showing as in, you should say demonstrate, it's a better word, demonstrating in front of an examiner. Night flying, day flying, normal flights, etc, etc, a lot of things. Okay, then proficiency check. Okay, other things we have all did. Last but not the least, we are coming to instrument rating. Instrument rating knowledge should be all written oral exams of air regulations, navigation, meteorology, instrument rating, and the prescribed syllabus, all these things. And then again, practical interpretation tests of oral and visual signals, all those things are included. Prerequisites. Then well, experience here, it's like it counts 100 hours at least as pilot in command, 50 hours as cross country flight, 40 hours instrument time, with at max 20 hours in the ground, that means simulator. And requirement should be having current pilot's license and FRTOL. Validity here is 12 months validity, and renewal period is 12 months, again same thing. If renewal of the license has to be done, instrument rating flight test will be held, and FRTOL license should be there. Privileges is that it can fly under the IFR conditions on the type of aircraft which you are flying on, which you have demonstrated your competency on. So those flights you can fly in an IFR condition. Also in the ATPL section, I forgot to mention that the age criteria maximum is 65 years of age, and we have already discussed previously, but to mention it again because that is an important point, can be asked in the examination. So 65 years of maximum age is for CPL as well as for the ATPL, and in the multi-crew environment it is 60 years. Okay, that has to be kept in mind, and I think we are done. I hope you learned something from my video today. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Keep your support up, like, share, subscribe, and do drop a comment and tell me how do you like it. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.